Hi, everyone. This is Focus from the Focus of Love, and today's topic is co parenting. Co parenting. Well, I'm going back to Wright's Barbershop, and they asked for me to talk about co parenting with many layers, I might add. So, we're going to talk about four levels of co parenting. One, when you're co parenting, that means that a relationship didn't work and it ended, right? Or it's kind of sticky in some situations, you're no longer together. So, if someone's got a new address, maybe even a new job, even a move to a new state. There's a lot of newness, so it's some turbulence, right? There's some adjustments that has to take place. Now, I want to urge that in this conversation, there's this mantra that we had that is not about us, is about the kids. That is a fallacy. In order to co-parent, in order to parent, if you have resentment, seething, hurt and pain, unrest underneath that co-parenting relationship and parenting relationship, it will show in your interaction with your children and of course that co-parent. So it is necessary that we heal the hurt, not only for the ability to parent that child and co-parent, but for our own soul. It is necessary for self-care to heal the hurt that that relationship didn't work. I am apologizing to you that that relationship didn't work. If you did not get the type of apology that you needed to heal, I am offering it now. I apologize it didn't work. I apologize for that part that that person played, and I ask that you ask for forgiveness to yourself of the part that you played, and then the healing begins. When you're able to take responsibility for your part in that relationship didn't work, I got it. Yes, maybe he cheated or he drank or she kept running out with the girls. However, there's always two sides, no matter how thin you slice it. It's a portion of something you can take responsibility for. And by doing so and forgiving yourself, all forgiveness is self forgiveness. So when you're willing and able to forgive yourself about the part you played, you'll be willing and able to forgive that other person that you need to co parent with for X amount of years to be able to create a new dance that will allow this child to have a healthy life and allow for you and your village, because now this is a new village. It's no longer a team. You guys are going to create a new village to raising this child, and that other parent is part of it as long as there's a healthy mental and state of being. You're not physically being abused. That person is now going to be a part of that. That's a whole nother video. And that person is going to be a part of that. So it's so necessary to do the work to get the power. I'm still talking about co-parenting because we can't even co-parent if the rage is still there and disappointment and the anger. I dare you. When all of that is there, and they pick up the phone to call you, and the phone rings on the other end, and the ringtone is his. Your whole body, your whole spirit is disturbed. So the first level of co-parenting is healing, completing that hurt, dealing with it, that the upset is there. So to pretend that it's all about the children and it's hunky dory, we're going to do what we need to do, that's a bunch of crock because it's going to be all in your spirit. You won't be able to absolutely get love the way you need to and want to because all of that junk's there in that space. I mean, how many people signing up for that kind of relationship and got to watch y'all co-parenting with all that distress? Not very many people are going to be willing to do that. But also just your mental rest, your ability to be creative at work and continue to offer a livelihood for yourself and for your children, your spirituality, just to be able to be at peace. That this is how the universe has allowed your life to evolve. Universe, what lesson would you like me to learn inside of this relationship not working? And now it's time to co parent. Mm, mm, mm. I'm okay with silence. I want you to breathe that in. Universe, what lesson do you want me to learn? Because there is a lesson, a humbling lesson. It may have been painful and traumatizing. However, there's a lesson that can give birth to growth, that can give birth to healing. And not only just for you, that can destroy generational curses, that can give birth to a business, a company, a ministry, a foundation, a 501c. See, these lives that we are living is not just for us. See, I would have gave up a long time ago, guys. As you guys know, focus from the focus of love derived from a marriage of 5 years from me being married at 18. My gentleman at the time was 21. We both loved God, but loving God was not enough. There's a whole lot of set of skills, a whole lot of skills that was missing that caused that marriage to be tormenting to he and I, and so much for me to be responsible for as well as him. Now, he chose to commit adultery. So his sin was obvious. But it was so much resentment and pain inside of me from my childhood and my past and what he did or didn't do and what I thought he should have done. So we all sin is equal, if you will, if you want to talk that way. Mm-hmm. So part of co-parenting is also dealing with the breakup. Now, you may not have the liberty to talk it out with that other person, but you can have a therapist. Definitely your girlfriends that are healthy and balanced, and your dudes that can support you and let you know, listen, man, you got to heal from that. Absolutely a life coach like myself. It is necessary to take the time and the effort to study yourself and deal with that thing to resolve the disappointment, the loss of identity. Now that the relationship has severed, that is painful. It's like an unto death when there's the end of a relationship or a marriage, especially when you've created another life like a child. I totally experienced that. Given Alan was only 3 years old when Alan Sr. and I separated, it was devastating to me. He was the breadwinner. I had a little bit of a job, if you will. I did have a job and I had a degree, but I definitely didn't see myself as the breadwinner and someone that can run the household. So it shook me. It shook my entire identity of how will I now be able to provide for me and my child now that he's gone. And the fact that he's gone, now the protector of the house is gone. Many scary nights. Everything I heard, I jumped up like, oh my God, what am I going to do if someone comes in here? My young man is only 3. I have to protect him. And then people had the nerve to start saying when they realized that we weren't together, you the man of the house now. I'm like, he's 5. Leave him alone. He doesn't need that kind of pressure to believe that somehow he needs to protect me when he's 5 and scared of the dark. It's so many nuances to when the co-parent relationship comes. It can be traumatic for all parties. See, we are verbal enough to say we need a talk therapist, a life coach. We want to talk to our pastor. We have girlfriends and boys that we can talk to. But what about the children? So unless we set them up with talk therapy or guidance counselor at school, they don't have an outlet. Most of the time, children will fall quiet because they don't want to upset mommy about daddy. They don't want to upset daddy about mommy. So they're suffering in silence. So this work of healing inside a co-parent is not just us, but to pull the child in close to our bosom, ladies, and to our shoulders, gentlemen, and go, we're going to heal and get through this together. There's another fallacy going on that is not about the children, but it's not about us, it's about the children. The other fallacy is that children are resilient, they'll be okay. That's why so many people jacked up. We have not allowed children to process the pain of disappointment of mommy and daddy not being together. The difference of now I have to spend a night here and I have to spend a night there. I can't go see that grandma because this grandma now is upset with my dad, so I don't get to go there anymore. We still talking about co-parenting. We got to deal with the beginning before we get to the ins and outs of who's dropping off, picking up, and child support and custody. We got to start at the beginning. Because if many people took the time to heal that wound, I think that many people would not even be in child support or custody. Frankly, might not even be at the point where it's necessary to co-parent. Let's heal that hurt so we can get clarity of how we're going to co-parent if it's going to stay in that status. Because every relationship, although you heal from it, it doesn't need to be restored. That relationship is done and we need to move on. We need to dig further and then get into our purpose that much more. Allow the frequency of who we are to rise up. that much more, because the universe wanted us to learn a lesson through that relationship, through now co-parenting, through now a different stance and identity need to be created beyond who we know ourselves to have been. And then we can get the love we want and have the life we love. Fellas, I will see you at the Rice Barbershop on December the 21st from noon to 2. And I would love to come to your salon, to your barbershop, and have these most intimate conversations. Now, a lot of it is very fun. We joke and we laugh, but it also gets down to the nitty gritty. And then each person that's in the building can have a 30-minute coaching with me, a with me on Zoom. When I meet them there, they can purchase my book. So it's a very great way to give back to your clients, to have them be heard, have them be healed in such a situation like going to get their hair done. You should see the gentleman open up and blossom like flowers when they get to speak their piece and say what's on their mind. It's a beautiful thing, ladies. I wish you all were flies on the walls. But not to worry. Like December the 1st, we dropped the nuggets, many nuggets that I gathered and I thought would be the most effective for you to hear. We dropped those nuggets on December the 1st. So I'll leave that link down below so you can actually hear those nuggets. And I promise I will be bringing more juicy nuggets from that day so that you can hear from the male perspective, ladies. And I look forward to coming to your salon so that we can also chop it up and get the healing that's necessary to heal that hurt and get the love you want. Bye bye. This is Focus from the Focus of Love.